Welcome to Dinesh Kiwil. My name is Dinesh Priyankara, Data Platform MVP and Business Intelligence Architect. Here's a video on Power BI, specifically something new that has been added to Power BI, which is Paginate Report. Let me show you how we can get the Power BI environment arranged for Paginate reports, and then how we can create Paginate reports and publish to a Power BI environment. Okay, let me show you what I have planned for this video. So we'll be having a quick discussion on enterprise reporting, what sort of report types are available under enterprise reporting. Once it is done, we can have a look on paginated reports. So let's see what are the characteristics of paginated reports. Once these two discussions are done, we can see how Power BI supports on paginated reports. As usual, I have prepared a demo for this video. So as a part of the demo, I'll be showing the way of getting the Power BI environment prepared for paginate reports, and then I'll show you the way of creating paginate reports using one of the tools, and finally let's see how we can publish that report to Power BI portal and consume it or access it. Let's talk about types of reports we create as a part of our reporting solutions. Most common one is a formal report. Sometimes we call these formal reports as production, operational, and paginated. In most cases we use a tabular data region for showing these type of reports. Then we have data exploration and analytical reports. These reports are more into BI side, so we allow end user to interact with that report and go into more insights. So we allow end user to do operations like drilling down, slicing and dicing, drilling through, opening a sub report, or even adjusting components in the reports. So we call them as data exploration and analytical reports. Then of course we have dashboards. So we create dashboards combining multiple business processes using multiple data regions. So we'll be having multiple items in the report that represent, for example, the first component or the first visual represent sales, second visual represent HR, third visual represent marketing. Likewise, we'll be creating a dashboard for supporting various type of items. So that is also part of enterprise reporting. We have predictive reports specifically for forecasting. If I want to get my sales forecasted for next couple of months, I can use predictive reports. We have mobile reports as well. We are trying our best to make sure that all the reports we created are supported with mobile devices, or else you can create reports specifically for mobile devices. So that's called as mobile reports. Let's see what are the paginate reports, because that's what we focus on. So paginate reports are in most cases IT driven reports. Why I'm saying like that? Because paginate reports will be created by IT department and then make them available for end users. That's why we call it as IT driven reports, and it is print ready and well formatted. We don't use much graphical elements or graphical regions for creating paginate reports. In most cases we use tabular, and you will see parameters with reports. So we can have multiple parameters for get the report content filtered, and of course we'll be having export facility on paginate reports. We should be able to get the report exported as a PDF or as an Excel workbook in order to continue with our analysis. That's also one of the characteristics of paginate reports. In some reporting environment, or based on the reporting platform you use, you will see the subscriptions facility as well. End user can subscribe for the report, and they can simply instruct the reporting environment, say, okay, get the report created on this day at this time and send it to my inbox. That's called subscription. In some cases we create the paginate reports and we don't open that report as a part of the reporting solution, but we are going to make that report available as a part of our application. That's called integration, that's called embedding. We can do this with paginate reports. And if you have used reporting services, you know that we can create report paths. For example, I can create the report header and report footer, and then I can use these header and footer whenever I create new reports. So these are some of the characteristics of paginated reports. Here is an example for paginated report, and you can see an analytical report as well. So as you see, when it's come to paginated report, you'll be having a large number of detailed records with that report, and you'll be having multiple pages and you can navigate through pages. And in some reports you'll be seeing parameters as well. In this case you can see a parameter configured for this report. So that's called as paginated report. Okay, so we talk about different type of reports as a part of enterprise reporting, and then we talk about characteristics of paginated reports. Let's see how Power BI supports paginated reports. So when it comes to report authoring, generally we use Power BI Desktop for creating reports. And you know that we cannot create paginated reports using Power BI desktops. What we create with Power BI is analytical report. However, now you can create paginated report using Power BI. So we can use either Visual Studio or Report Builder. So when it comes to Visual Studio, you can use SQL Server Data Tools for creating reports, because that's a tool we use for creating reports when it comes to reporting services. Or else you can use Report Builder, which is specifically designed for business users, not for developers. But of course you can, if you are a developer, you can use Report Builder as well. So either Visual Studio or Report Builder can be used for creating paginated reports for Power BI. Once these two types of reports are created, we can publish these reports into our portal. Generally we use Power BI portal for publishing reports. We have been publishing our analytical reports that we create using Power BI Desktop into Power BI portal. So it's not something new, but the newest part is paginated reports. Once these reports are created using Visual Studio or Report Builder, we can simply publish them to Power BI portal, or you will be published into Power BI embedded environment for supporting third-party application or your own products, or you can have these reports with Power BI Report Server. So this is how you create reports and publish into Power BI. Remember, Power BI paginated reports cannot be created with all data sources. Currently it supports Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Data Warehouse, on-premise SQL Server Database, and on-premise analysis services. Remember, in order to connect with on-premise SQL Database and analysis service, you need to have the gateway installed. But of course, things are getting improved, enhanced. You will soon see the support on Power BI models, Oracle, ODBC and OLDB, and Teradata. So what are the steps of creating paginated reports? The first thing is getting your Power BI environment configured for paginated reports. So you need to have either Power BI embedded capacity, or you need to have Power BI Premium. Remember, if you do not have these two, you cannot create paginated reports and publish into the portal. So one is Power BI embedded capacity, that is basically for creating your own products or supporting other apps. Or if you're really focusing on reporting solutions, then you need to make sure that your Power BI license is Power BI Premium. So once you have these two, you need to make sure that capacity setting is enabled for paginated reports. Once it is enabled, you have to create an app workspace connecting with premium capacity. That's all you have to do. Then you can use one of the tools for creating reports, and then you can publish using the portal. It's something like uploading CSV file or Excel file, and once it is published, you have to do certain set of configuration if it is connected to on-prem data source. But other than that, you don't need to do anything. Once it is published, you can simply access it. So these are the steps for getting your Power BI environment prepared for paginated reports, and then creating and publishing paginated reports. Let's see how we can do all of these things. Let me show you how to configure the Power BI environment, and then I'll show you how to download Report Builder and use Report Builder for creating a report. And then let's see how we can publish that report back to the portal and see how it works. Okay, let's see how we can get our environment or Power BI ready for paginated report. First thing is we need to make sure that Power BI is ready for paginated reports. So how do we make sure that? We need to make sure that we have either Power BI Premium or Power BI Embedded is enabled. So let's click on this and go to Admin Portal and click on Capacity Settings. If you see either Power BI Premium or Power BI Embedded enabled and configured with your Power BI, which means you can create PageNet reports and you can add those PageNet reports to this portal. So that's the first thing you need to do. Second thing is you need to make sure that PageNet reports are enabled for this portal. So how do you do it? You click on your premium capacities and scroll down. You should see something called workloads. Expand it and make sure that PageNet reports preview is active. If you want to adjust the memory, you can adjust it, but you can accept the default as well. We have to do one more thing with the Power BI portal. We need to make sure that we have a new workspace for PageNet reports. So how do I create a new workspace? I can click on workspace and click on create app workspace. I have already created one, but let me show you how to create one. So once you click on create app workspace, all you have to do is just enter your name. For example, my reporting workspace, and then you can select whether it's going to be public or private, and how others can work with your BI content. And the most important part is selecting the capacity for this workspace. So expand this advanced section and make sure that dedicated capacity is on, and you have selected the dedicated capacity for your workspace, and then click on save. Your workspace will be created. Okay, click on the download icon and you can see report builder as a part of the menu items. So click on it. You'll be automatically redirected to another page which can be used for downloading report builder. Click on download for downloading it. Once the download is completed, you can start the installation. It's a standard installation, so you can just click on next and continue with the wizard. And if you have already installed reporting server, you can give the reporting server web URL for this, but since we don't have a reporting server, you can simply skip it and click on next to continue with the installation. Once installation is done, you can see the report builder in the recently added section, so click on it for opening it. Okay, let me show you how to create a paginated report using report builder. So first thing is we need to connect with the data source. So there's a section called, or there's a node called data sources. Right click on it and add new data source. I'm going to rename this as data source AdventureWorks because I'm going to connect with AdventureWorks database. And I'm not going to use this as a shared connection, so I'm going to make sure that this connection is embedded to my report. So make sure that you select the second radio button. Now we need to add the connection string. We don't need to write the connection string. We can simply click on the build button and get the connection string generated. So let's click on the build button. Let me put my SQL server, and I'm going to use SQL authentication, and my user is Dinesh and this is my password. Let me click on save my password, and we have to configure that password again in the portal once it is published. And I'm going to select AdventureWorks 2014, which is sort of an old database, but still we can use it. Let me click on test connection for seeing it. Yeah, everything is good, and click OK. Right, and again I'm clicking OK to complete my data source creation. Next part is creating a data set. So I'm going to use one of the views I have already created. Let me right click on this and add data set, and I'm going to name this as dataset sales, and it's not going to be a shared data set, and I'm going to make sure that data set is embedded to this report. I'm going to use the data source I created with my previous step, and I'm going to either I can write the select statement here, or else I can click on query designer and select the view I have already created. So it has been created under DBO schema. Let me expand views and select sales. So as you see, it returns order year, month number, sales order, product, and amount. Do not worry about the business logic of these columns. Okay, so all we need is to get a data set and get our paginated report created. But I'm going to add sales order year as a filter, so let me click on this button to get it added, and I'm going to mark this as a parameter. I'll be adding values for these parameters later. So let me click on OK, and let me click on OK again. But before that, let me quickly have a look on parameter section. I can see order year parameter has been created. Let me click OK. My data set is ready. So this is my report body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a region. So let me go into insert section. I can see table data region. I can click on it and select insert table and get my table region created. Let me start with 2 columns. So I'm going to delete the first one. You don't need to do it, but in order to get everything properly arranged, I want to start with 2 columns. Okay, so as you know that this is the only numeric value we have, which is amount. I'm going to add amount for last column. Done. We can change font size, font, and formatting later. Let me add columns first. So I'm going to have all my amounts based on product. So that's how I'm going to have my PageNet reports. But I need to have some sort of grouping with this report. I prefer to see year, month, and the sales order number and the value for all products. So I don't want to see all the products immediately. I can let end user to click on the product and then get that area expanded to see product details. That is called collapse and expand feature. So let's see how we can enable collapse and expand feature. All I have to do is group this detail line. When I select this, I can see under row group section the details section is available, or the detail record is available. So how can I add a group on top of this? I can click on this and click on add group and select parent group. So how do you want to start the grouping? I know my next level is sales order number, so I'm going to select sales order number as my group by element, and of course I'm going to have group header. Let me click on OK. As you see, you're going to see a column with sales order number. In addition to sales order number, I'm going to have both sales year and sales order month. Let me add 2 columns. Insert column to left, insert column to left, and I'm going to select order month, and I'm going to select order year. Now I want to get this one formatted, increase the width of columns, and I want to make sure that this is right align, and I want to make sure that I can see the total of amount for year and month and sales order, and let me make sure that it is also right align. And I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to select this row and change the font. I prefer to have a different font, something like this. Let me do the same for other 2 elements. Done. Okay, I want to make sure that these 2 are formatted properly. So let me select this column and get it, right click on it, text box properties, go to number, and let me select number and select use 1000 separator, and I'm going to do the same for the next one. Done. Okay, I don't want this text box. Let me remove it. I like to have some sort of coloring with my header, so let me select it and change this as blue. Okay, and I'm going to change the font color as well, so let me make it as white. Okay, it looks more cleaner. Right, I'm going to add a header. So how do I add a header for my PageNet report? Go to insert and select header and add header. So I can see my header section. Let me bring this a little bit up. Right, done. Okay, so I'm going to add a text box for this, and I'm going to make this as sales report, and let me increase the font size, something like 24. I'm going to have a logo for this section, so let me insert an image for this, and let me select the image. Let me click on import. Let me take this logo, and I'm going to make sure that it is an embedded image. So let me click on OK. Right, logo is set as well. I can take this execution time to left corner. Let me make sure that is left aligned, and let me have page numbering as well. So let me add a text box to footer, and let me right click on it and select expression. I'm going to pick some built-in fields, so I can take something like page number and then space ampersand of, I'm going to have total page numbers, so that's this. Okay, let me click on OK, and let me make sure it is right align. Okay, now we have added everything required, but we need to make sure that detailed products are not immediately shown. So I want to make sure that this section is hidden. So before I configure in that part, let me have a text on this saying all products, and let me go into my detail section and get group properties, go to visibility, and I'm going to check hide, and I'm going to say that this visibility can be controlled with sales order number. Let me click on OK, and let me adjust few things, and let me run it and see. Okay, one thing we forgot, that we need to make sure that order year is properly configured, or order year parameter is properly configured. Let me go back to the design and go to parameter section and get the properties of the parameter. So as you see, the name of it is order year, and order year is, this is how it is going to be prompted. Okay, so available values, let me have certain set of values. So I'm going to have something like 2011, and I'm going to add another one which is 2012. I'm going to add two more, 2013 and 2014. And I'm going to set the default value as 2014. And one more change, we need to remove the aggregation of order year column. Let me get the properties of this and just select the order year. Click OK. All done. Let me run it and see. Okay, so all look good. Yes, everything is okay. If I want, I can get this area expanded and see the detail section of it, and I can see 274 pages. I can navigate through pages. Right, let me save this. Okay, I saved it as sales, so I can see my sales file. Okay, so we have the report. This is the last part. So we have to publish the report into Power BI portal. Now I'm in my standard workspace, but we need to make sure that we work with the app workspace we created. So let me switch to my app workspace. Done. And then I can click on get data, and I'm going to click on these files to publish my sales RDL, or the sales report I created using report builder. Let me click on it, and I'm going to select local files, and I'm going to select my sales file. Once the upload is completed, you'll be seeing this prompt saying that publishing is succeeded, but still you need to configure your credentials. So click on continue, and you will see gateway selection. You remember that I created this report connecting with my local data source, so I need to make sure that gateway is configured, and then gateway is connected with my report. As you see, there are two gateways, but I'm going to use my second gateway, which is PBI_gateway01. So what I have to do is I have to click on this, and I can see some set of values with a link called add to gateway. So I'm going to click on add to gateway. So my data source will be automatically added to this gateway. So I can see certain set of input boxes. So data source name, I'm going to name this as data source Adventure Works. It is always better to have the same name you use for your data source with your report. And server name is okay, database is okay. Authentication, I'm going to use Dinesh account and the password. And let me click on add. Okay, data source configuration is done, and you can see the report is now connected with the gateway, but we have to do one more thing. Select this and click on apply. Everything is done. Let's see whether we can open the report. So as I see, I can see the parameter, and we set the default parameter value as 2014, and report is getting open. So this connects with my local SQL Server database and get records into my Power BI environment. So this is how you make paginated reports available with Power BI portal. Okay, everything is done. I hope you learned something from this. If you have any question, you can add your question as comments, and then I'll try my best to answer all your question as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching.